Today. Other interesting business news, you have LVHM sales drop as demand for luxury goods dampen, and their wine and spirits division is specifically down 14%. Now, although the name, I don't want to say it's an F for creativity in terms of the acronym LVHM, it stands for something I'm going to butcher, admittedly enough, Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton. So I think I got the last part right. But it's basically the holding company of all the luxury goods you could ever possibly fathom. And historically, they've been extremely successful. And the founders, he's a brilliant entrepreneur. He saw an opportunity in the market. He basically went out and he acquired the most luxurious brands out there, formed a holding company. And when you combine lots of businesses together that are in similar industries, you get a lot of benefits or economies of scale. A lot of the same perfumes use the same core products or core components. So if you're buying in larger bulk, you get a better price per unit. So there's a lot of advantages to buying a lot of these companies that are in the same industries. Now, there are over, how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 6, 9. There's probably over 100 in here, but I'm going to name a couple of the brands you probably recognize that they own. And a couple of those include, let's see here. You got Hennessy, a bunch of champagne companies I can't pronounce. You got Dior, Louis Vuitton, Marc Jacobs. Let's see here. Sephora, Marc Jacobs Beauty. You got Tag Heuer, Tiffany & Co., Zenith, and most French companies I can't fathom to pronounce. But nevertheless, rest assured, if it's a fancy company, odds are they're all part of this new company. Now, in terms of the breakdown of how their sales have been going, they blame the weak demand in China as one of the reasons why they're having their sales drop precipitously, which makes sense. For years, China has been one of the fastest growing economies. They've been buying up more and more goods, but there's a little precarious situation where the government's kind of propping up the whole economy and the way they measure GDP. So that balloon may suspect will be popping soon, although perhaps a better metaphor. No, balloon is good. They had that fun and hot air balloon come over the United States and show how inept our military power is when we just allow the balloon to stay there. So the balloon metaphor stands. Now, looks like specifically they said the biggest area of the company is leather goods. That division is up 9%, but their wine and spirits division is down 14% compared to the same time period over 2022. They also noted that jewelry and watches divisions are down as well. And anecdotally speaking, I know a couple friends who are collecting watches, and they've talked to me about the price fluctuations. I can't help but think that market is bloated, and that's going to be the next bubble to burst, to say. Although, as we know, the true OG, as the youth might say, they just need one suit and one watch forever. Carbon, it's bulletproof. Just as good as a Rolex. We'll see how the comment section take that comment. Now, interestingly enough, they also noted that this is the first time the company missed expectations in more than 3 years, which, of course, being a publicly traded company, perhaps one of the worst things you could possibly do is miss the expectations of all the analysts. Because, again, that's when they downgrade their stock. That's when the stock price goes down. That's when people sell. It's pretty much the most negative sign that could be had as a publicly traded company. And we talked about this before in the show where some companies' stock just drop by almost double digits when they go for that phenomenon. Now, they noted in terms of the stock trend overall, I looked at the 6-month trend for this stock. The 6-month trend is down at 28%. Now, the 1-month trend is down at 19.19%. And last week it was down about 6%, going down to a mere $141 per share. And it's also many people are wondering if this is an indicator of a greater economic issues, where a lot of people know there's economic uncertainty. In terms of my IT company, we notice this. We work primarily with businesses, and a lot of businesses are putting projects on hold, which used to be, I would say, simple projects or a simple sign-off by the president, CEO. Some of them are actually delaying projects because there's so much uncertainty. They don't know if they're going to be regulated out of existence because of the government with the election. They don't know if hyperinflation is going to get even worse. So one of those things, there's a lot of uncertainty. A lot of people who predominantly might purchase these luxury goods, many of them do own businesses. So this also might be an indicator that, well, they're starting to rein in all of their spending. Is it because something even worse is around the corner? That's what a lot of people are concerned about, and I can't help but wonder, perhaps they're right? In terms of the economy in the U.S., given what the government's doing these days, I would say the outlook is not so good, as Magic 8 Ball might say. Although, interestingly enough, a Magic 8 Ball would actually have more intelligence than someone in the U.S. government these days. Not saying much, but is this perhaps, oh, you could also perhaps argue it's more honest and reliable too. That's a political pun. There we go. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. I also want to especially thank everyone. It took us a while, but we were finally monetized, so I'm very happy for that. It means we're going to turn on the ads, and with the additional revenue that comes in, we'll be able to hire more resources, get some maybe creative people to actually design the thumbnails. We'll get some software to do the picture-in-picture once you get to that point. So I really do appreciate it. I'm very excited to say that we've gotten to that point, so I'll be turning monetization on. Also, if you can give me suggestions for the picture-in-picture software for production, I greatly appreciate that. I know the feedback, that's something they want. I've tried a couple, but keeps having some quirks. Also, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.